Alright, the day's finally arrived. I played a session where there were some interesting hands, and I'm going to describe to you those actual hands that I played. So that brings us to our new segment, which I'm going to call Actual Hands That I Played. Here's the first one. Alright, this hand I get dealt, the ace of spades, 10 of spades, and the cutoff. Under the gun limps, middle position limps, gets to me, I make it 20 to go. Should have made it 25. I like to raise 15 and add 5 for each limper, but for some reason I missed that the under the gun player had limped, and so I only made it 20. So under the gun calls, middle position calls. Both players' ranges are fairly wide, so I can't really narrow them at this point, including under the gun, who likes to limp with a wide variety of hands, as you will see. Flop comes down, ace of clubs, jack of clubs, 7 of hearts. Both players check to me. I elect to bet $40. Under the gun thinks for a second and calls fairly quickly. Middle position folds. I put under the gun definitely not an ace. I put him on some kind of random flush draw. Maybe a flush draw and a gutter. But I'm fairly certain that my hand is still good. Turn comes, 8 of diamonds. It did complete one of the gutter balls, but I'm still fairly certain I've got the best hand. He checks to me. I elect to shove at this point. There is, let's see, 40 plus 40 plus the 60 in the pot. So there is 140 in the pot. I have about 135 left, so I basically have a pot-sized bet. So I make the pot-sized bet. He snap calls. I'm thinking, uh-oh, maybe I'm beat here. But to my good fortune, as I show the ace of spades, 10 of spades, he rolls over the 4 of clubs, 7 of clubs for a flush draw and a pair. River was the 8 of spades, and I take down a nice pot. Alright, that was pretty cool. Just trying to teach myself that music dissolve effect for future videos. I'm pretty sure I'll get nailed for a copyright violation on that one, but I think it was worth it. This next hand, I pick up 2 red jacks in the small blind. Under the gun bets 25. Pretty much everyone at the table calls. And I look to the left of me and I see that the big blind is getting ready to complete the 25. So my options here are to 3-bet, which is the normal line, or just call and try and hit a set with these jacks out of position to everyone. My relative position is kind of decent in that if the under the gun player makes a c-bet on any flop, I'm going to be second to last to act, so I can act with fairly good information on a lot of flops. I had just ramped up a little bit and was feeling comfortable with these chips, and so I suppose if I wanted a 3-bet, I'd make it, I don't know, 125 to go with so much money in the middle. But I decide to go for the set value. I call. Flop comes down 2, 3, 6. I check. Big blind checks. Under the gun checks. Everyone else at the table checks. So I'm thinking there's a chance my jacks are good here, but there's really no need to inflate a pot. Turn comes. It's a king. I check. Big blind checks. Under the gun checks. Entire table checks. River comes, it's another king. Now I'm thinking my jacks are pretty good here, but I'm still out of position, everybody, so my plan is check call. I check. Big blind checks. Under the gun checks. Rest of the table checks until the guy to my immediate right decides to bet $30 into this enormous pot. Of course I call. Under the gun calls, I'm thinking, okay, I'm definitely beat. And the river better rolls over, pocket 3s for a flopped set of 3s and a full house. I laugh, muck my jacks face down, and under the gun says, yeah, I misplayed this, and rolls over, pocket aces. So I'm fairly happy with the way that I played the jacks. I'm pretty sure that I lost the minimum. If I had 3-bet at pre-flop on under the gun, most likely would have shoved, and I think I would have had to call it off because under the gun is a loose enough player that I can put him on a wide enough range that my jacks do pretty well against his range. Of course, aces are at the very top of his range, but not being results oriented, I'm fairly certain I misplayed this hand, even though I did lose the minimum.